tuning into this video. I've got some delicious things to show you. Hopefully you can find some ideas or inspiration for things that you can add into your meal plan. At the end, I'm going to show you a very quick and easy dessert just in time for Valentine's Day. But let's just get started here with this teriyaki beef over rice. This was a really delicious and easy recipe. We're going to start off with this one. Alright, for this recipe I am starting off with this beef round steak. If you've been around here for long at all, you know that we have our own beef. We purchase cattle. They are raised and taken care of at our son's house. He does a wonderful job with them, and there's nothing better than knowing what you're putting in your body. So this beef, we know how it's been raised, we know what's been fed, and it is very, very delicious. And with the price of everything having gone up so much, what a blessing it has been to have a freezer full of delicious beef. So I am just cutting this up here. I'm going to cube it up, and I'm going to get some seasoning on there, fry it up, and I'm going to get it in my slow cooker. So let's get started. Alright, for my seasonings, I'm going to shake on some of this Chop House steak, and then look what happens here. I open up my garlic powder on the wrong end and pour out a big old bunch that I did not mean to do. Crisis averted though. I just scooped it off and then just, went ahead and mixed this all up. I didn't show putting on the black pepper, but I put a generous amount of that. So I got this all seasoned, just eyeballed it to where it was looked like a good amount of seasoning on there, and that's going to provide some really great flavor to this beef as it's cooking up in the skillet. Now I'd imagine you could avoid this step and just put this right into the crock pot, but I wanted there to be a little bit of a sear on my meat just to kind of lock in those flavors, kind of crisp it up a little bit before it went in. That's just how I chose to do it. I'm not following a recipe for this. I do have a recipe that I really enjoy. I will link that one below. I feel like I even filmed that, so I will link that below. But I've made this before. It's just basically a concept recipe, and so I didn't follow anything real exact. I'm just showing you here how I put it together this time around. I've been talking about quite a bit lately using things that I have, finishing up things, pulling from my fridge and pantry. So I have this Sweet Baby Ray's sweet teriyaki, just a little bit in the bottom. It's very flavorful and it doesn't take a whole lot of this sauce. So I'm going to finish that up. I'm going to add about the same amount of water to it, and that is going to be my very easy pre-made sauce for this dish. Alright, I went on ahead and poured some of the sauce down in the bottom of my crock pot liner here, and then I'm just going to spoon in this beef. I'm going to set this to low because it's not going to take very long at all, and I wanted to be in there maybe about a couple hours. So after I get this spooned in, we're going to put the lid on and let it do its thing in the crock pot. Now to get to work on my broccoli, I only ended up using about half of this, and so I am just going to get it all trimmed down into bite-sized pieces, and can't get much easier than steaming it in the microwave. That's what I ended up doing with this too. It was just like a fork tenderness is kind of what I wanted, and of course that just took a couple of minutes. I'm about 30 minutes from serving dinner, so I'm going to use a little bit of cornstarch and cold water to make a slurry. That will just thicken up the sauce that's in there with the beef to make a little bit of a gravy to go over top of the rice. It's going to be so delicious. Easy peasy, just stir that together and pour it in. and I was able to finish the rest of a box of minute rice. I also cooked that in the microwave. It cooks in 5 minutes. Just fluff it up here, and it is a perfect addition to go with this beef. Here's the broccoli out of the microwave, and I'm going to show you our plate. This was so delicious, very, very flavorful. The meat was very tender, just quick and easy to put together. Really, the crock pot did most of the work as far as getting it tenderized. I put a little bit of red pepper flakes on top of mine, and of course a little bit of butter on the broccoli just amps up the flavor there. This was great. Definitely give this one a try. The next meal I'm showing you here starts with this delicious ham. Oh my goodness, is this not beautiful? I thought this just baked up looking so pretty. My husband had been wanting a ham dinner, and I was able to get this at Kroger for 89 cents a pound back around the holidays. I just made some homemade macaroni and cheese, the best baked beans ever. They have some ground beef and bacon in them. I have cottage cheese, broccoli salad that my mother-in-law made. They came over and joined us for dinner. I made some deviled eggs, and I had some of the Rhodes yeast rolls that cook in the oven in no time. We enjoyed this meal thoroughly. We even had some yummy dessert. My mother-in-law had some Buckeyes left over in her freezer from the holidays, and I made a yummy pina colada cake. Here is a look at my plate. Everything just hit the spot. Now I'm going to show you ways that I am using this leftover ham. First off, it's delicious for breakfast. So throw a few pieces in the skillet, and here I just made up some cheesy scrambled eggs. That is an easy way to eat leftover ham. And then for lunch on a different day, I made a grilled ham and cheese sandwich, and I just loaded it. I loaded it with tomato, lettuce. I put some mayonnaise on there. This was so good. It was a spiral brown sugar ham is what it was. So yes, the flavor was amazing. Of course, what we didn't eat, I portioned out and put it in freezer bags. I put that in my freezer, so I will be able to use that in all sorts of upcoming recipes, and I'm already looking forward to that. All right, here I have 2 pounds of ground beef. Again, from the beef that we raise. I am going to brown both of those up here in the skillet. What I decided to do today was to go ahead and do a little bit of extra cooking. So this was actually going to be for lunch. 2 of my daughter-in-laws and little grandsons came over for lunch that day, and so I decided to go ahead while I was browning this up, not only make lunch, but make dinner. So the Hamburger Helper here is going to be the dinner. I don't make Hamburger Helper all that often, but my husband James really likes the cheeseburger macaroni one especially, and so that's what I have here. So I just figure let's use my time wisely today in the kitchen and go ahead and get this made up for dinner. I knew that would be helpful for me at the last half of the day. So here I am getting this all made up, and I wanted to tell you actually another thing I did. I had just a little bit of macaroni and cheese, homemade mac and cheese left from that ham dinner. I just stirred that right in here as well, and actually a couple of my little grandsons had this for lunch instead of the nachos that I made. And so, you know, Taco Tuesday, well, here lately we have really been enjoying nachos. I don't do a Taco Tuesday, but lately it just seems like nachos have been reoccurring on our menu because we are just enjoying them so much. So I made loaded nachos for my daughter-in-laws that day. The great thing about nachos or tacos or any type of Mexican dish with ground beef, you can just season it up whichever way you want, and that can provide a different flavor and sort of kind of make your Taco Tuesday, if you do that each week, take on a new flavor just based on what you put in there. And you can see here, I just used that same skillet. Once I got my Hamburger Helper made, I emptied that out. What's a little cheese left over in the skillet gonna hurt? Nothing. So I'm going into my spice cabinet here, and I'm just deciding what am I gonna pull out to season up this ground beef. So I ended up doing cumin, onion powder, I think a little bit of chili powder, probably some salt and pepper, and that made a great flavor for the ground beef to top our nachos. Okay, so of course you saw me use about a half a can of the chili ready tomatoes. That really gave a great flavor to this. I just put the other half in the refrigerator, and I will use that here probably in a day or two and something. If not, I can throw those in the freezer. And then I decided to get out some black beans. Those are always a good topping, a bean of some sort for a loaded nachos dish. So I got those cooking on the stove, and to season those up, I like to add just a little bit of bacon grease. That really provides great flavor for black beans or refried beans, either one. Hi, little boy. What are you in here trying to do? Scaring me while I'm cooking.
Hi guys.
Look at this boy's new haircut. Isn't he looking like a big boy?
Let's show him something.
Okay, show him.
It's Baby Yoda, and I need some stuff.
Bowl of chopped romaine lettuce, all the fixings. I had these tortillas and the tortilla chips. I had this yummy market side white cheese. This is very, very good if you haven't purchased it. And everyone just made their own thing. Some made a big taco bowl, some made nachos, some made taco salad. This is my plate of nachos here. It was delicious, and of course we had our dinner already prepared with the Hamburger Helper. And looky here. Do we have another helper? Yes, we do. While I was getting out my Hamburger Helper, I saw I had this Tuna Helper. And this was a few nights later. Nothing really sounded good. I needed a meal that was kind of quick. And so I thought, you know what? Tuna Helper. So I pulled out this box. And it actually takes 2 cans of tuna. I only have 1 here in this clip, but I went back and got my second can. And these are just so quick and easy. I do have a really yummy tuna casserole, and I will link that below. I've made it here on my channel. It's from scratch. But these box meals are great sometimes. These are things I like to have in my pantry just for occasions just like this. So we just had a helper kind of week. I took these crispy onions and put them on top. I cooked up some homemade mashed potatoes and made some peas. That was our quick and easy dinner that night, and it was just one more thing that I was able to pull from my pantry and use up. Someone wants to say hi. Say hi, everyone. Say hi. Are you going to help Gigi cook today? Okay. So be sure and look below and then click on that video, and it shows a homemade tuna helper, like a tuna casserole basically. Hi. That is really delicious. But tonight I'm using this because this is what I have in my pantry. And I'm making homemade mashed potatoes and some peas. So I'll show you my plate in just a minute. Really excited about using all these things that I have in my pantry, my freezer, refrigerator. It's been really, really nice spending less and using what I have. All right, I'm going to show you a wonderfully quick and so delicious recipe just in time for Valentine's Day. Sometimes if it's got a little red on it, we think, oh, this would be great for Valentine's Day. So that's what this one is. It has cherries on it, so it just looks perfect. This is one of my husband's all-time favorite desserts, and I'm going to show you how to put it together. There are many, many names for this recipe, but our family mostly has called it Cherry Delight, and it usually is made in a 9x13 with your own graham cracker crust. But I am using a pie shell here today, and so I am going to call this a Cherry Delight pie. You have 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, and that gets mixed with your block of cream cheese. You have whipped topping, your shell, and some cherries. Cannot get much easier than that. Let's get started.
Oh, I want you right now, and I need you right now, you right now. want you now, now, now. My world is spinning round, round, round. And I want you now, and I want you now, and I want you now.
Alright, after you have blended together your cream cheese and your cup of powdered sugar, you're going to stir in the 8-ounce tub of Cool Whip until that's really, really smooth, and you're going to put it in your pie pan and top it with the cherries. It does not get any easier, and I'm telling you, it's such a good dessert.
Can go anywhere you like and do anything you want, anything you want. 'Cause every day is something new. If I spend it with you, with you, with you. Oh, I want you right now. Oh, I need you right now. You right now. My world is spinning round, round, round. Oh, I want you now, now, now. My world is spinning round, round, round. And I want you now, and I want you now. My world is spinning round, round, round. Oh, I want you now, now, now. My world is spinning round, round, round.
And one thing that's great about this dessert, when you slice it to serve it, it doesn't run, it doesn't fall, it stays put. It makes for a beautiful presentation, even if you are just serving it on a paper plate. This was delicious. My husband loves this anytime I make it. Of course, you can use any kind of topping you like. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another video, seeing what we've been eating around here. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys the next time.
You now.